Hi, Dave here, Amber Logistics. This video is not going to be about the general things I do, which is like a day-to-day video diary, because over the last couple of weeks, I've not really worked an awful lot, but that's been due to family issues. I've been dipping in and out, doing bits of work for my own customer, the odd work here and there on the Courier exchange, but nothing really worth writing home about. But what this is about is just to support someone who's got a petition out. And also kind of backs up the most recent video that is out from James Fletcher from Freddie Fletcher Limited. And it's about the general state of the Courier exchange at the moment. I mean, I suppose you could say it's about the state of the industry as well, the way it's going. But essentially, I'm going to put a link in the description for the petition. And this petition's being run by a chap called Clive. He has his own courier company called Roadrunners, and they're based mainly in the East Midlands. And Clive is what I would call one of the decent shippers, and that he pays a fair price for the work that he puts out. He has a bit of a stable of regular subcontractors that do work for him that has obviously impressed him when he's employed them via the CX, and then he's got an app that is set up to give them work, but he also puts work out there on the CX as well, and generally doesn't go mainly by price, goes mainly by feedback and things like that. And I would say he's a fair shipper. Now, on the other end of the spectrum to people like Clive, you've got other companies, we all know who they are, who are expecting you to do the work for ridiculous amounts of money that you'd be stupid to do it for, because you're not going to make anything. In fact, you're going to lose on it. But they're quite happy to sell it you, knowing that you're actually on a loser. And these shipping companies, or shippers, or whatever you want to call them, they're the ones that are causing problems. We all know we're in a bit of a recession. We all know that jobs are selling for less than is ideal and what we'd like. But there's a point where it's just not worth doing it. And should the CX intervene and step in to stop these companies knowingly selling jobs for far less than what minimum wage would be? And also to stop these companies from posting things like job pays. So you might, I've seen them, so it's not that I'm lying. You might see a job that's going 200 miles and a shipper will put job pays £100. Now, I thought it's supposed to be a bidding platform, that you put a bid in for that job that suits you. Is it up to them to dictate the price? That puts off anybody else bidding unless they're willing to work for 50 pence a mile. These are just figures I'm throwing out, but you see it quite all the time. So what Clive is proposing, that we ask the CX to stop this practice. Now, they might argue and say, well, it's a free market, people can do what they want. But what is happening, and it's true, and if you watch James's video, he'll confirm the same thing. People are giving up the jobs. People are giving up this industry. The people who work legitimately, who run it like it should be run, who buy a van, maintain a van properly, insure it properly, operate on the Courier exchange, for example, and don't co-load and things like that, they can't afford to compete with these ridiculously low prices, and they're giving the game up. And the industry is losing good, honest drivers, and then the other drivers are perhaps not so honest, will co-load, syndicates, things like that. They're taking the work, and decent guys are being lost to the industry. And I know of 5 or 6 just immediately to mind now who packed the game up in the last 2 months. And it's a shame. But if you're going to run at 50 pence a mile, you can't. The running costs are so high to run a van, maintain it. You've got to run your van, you've got to fuel your van, you've got to insure your van. You've also got to prepare to replace that van when the time comes. Plus pay yourself a wage, make allowances for time off through holidays and things like that. And if you're getting 50 pence a mile, you ain't going to do it, are you? Now, I know some people say it's a backload site, but some of these jobs are not advertised as backloads. They're advertised as hot shots, which in my view is an immediate same-day delivery. But they'll still say job pays. So I think they're taking advantage unfairly of drivers. Now, personally, I don't quote on their work. And to be honest, when I see these things, I tend to start blocking these companies now because I don't want anything to do with them. I don't work much on the Courier Exchange, it's true. I find it very difficult nowadays to get backloads. Some days I'm made out to be a liar and I'll have a day of backloads. But most of the time, it's difficult to get a backload at anything like even a reduced rate that I'm willing to work for a genuine backload. I find it difficult to get. I cannot compete. You go into London area, no chance. Manchester, all the big city areas, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, you try and get backloads out for what you say was a fair price, even for a backload. It's difficult because you're just competing all the time and these unscrupulous companies are taking advantage of it. Yes, I know these shipping companies are competing against each other, but what they're doing, they're dragging everything down to the bottom and we're going to lose more and more good drivers. And it's a damn shame. So there's a link to the petition. Sorry, I lost my thread then. Please consider signing that petition. I'm not saying they'll take any notice of it, but if more people raise a voice, maybe there's a chance they'll even look at it. If they think everything's fine and dandy. But remember this, we pay an awful lot of money for our subscription. Don't just look after the shipping companies. Look after the drivers as well, Courier Exchange, because people will not be renewing. Thanks for watching. And when things get a bit better at home, I'll be posting a bit more regular again. You all take care of yourself.